What's going on, guys? Today I'm going to be showing you how to use the subcategories part of Smartscout. Now, this tool is very unique, I think, in the Amazon space. So, one of the struggles, I think, when especially as you get more advanced, right? You don't want to be just diddly daddling. You kind of want to zone in specific areas of Amazon, and I think all people should do that to begin with. But if you don't know, you don't know. So the beauty of the subcategories here is that you can actually see what's going on within that category. You can see whether it's growing, whether it's not growing. Do you think is there a dominant seller? Is it dominated by Chinese sellers? Right. So what is truly happening in the subcategory? This here will tell you exactly what's going on, and you don't want to be for me, for example, I don't want to be competing against a lot of Chinese sellers within a category. They're just going to beat you on price. They're going to beat you. They'll be negative. They'll lose money to kill your business. That's how bad they are willing to go to get these products, right? So you can also see the categories that have been trailing the last 12 months have been on a positive note. They've been growing explosively, right? You can't tell what's going on through a category with Keepa, with any other software, because it just doesn't give you that data like Smartscout is. Smartscout is built upon layers, and it starts at the highest level, which is all of Amazon, and then it breaks it down into the categories, subcategories, then brands, and that basically it's a big stack. So it goes all the way down to the unique product. So you have the full stack available to you, but this is one of the ways you can pinpoint where you really want to put your eggs in a basket in a way. So for example, just to give you an example, so here we clicked on subcategories. Now you're hearing all the different subcategories. I already turned on the 12-month growth here, and you can click that here. You can search it as well at the top, but you click 1 month or 12 month. Usually it's turned off by default. Let's put both of them here. You can filter it as well. So for example, you don't want to spend time looking at any of the subcategories that are already negative. So what you do is you click on filters, and then you go into, where are you, the 12-month growth, and you want to work in a category that has been growing 10% within the last 12 months. There you go. All the subcategories here are shown. It kind of like opens up, but let's collapse all of them here, or just one of them at a time. So I'm closing each one by one. Otherwise, I got to turn off the filter. So let's see here. I'm a big fan of automotive. I'm a big fan of tools and home improvement. But let's try something different. So for example, electronics. Not a big seller. It's not a growing category within Amazon. Who knows why, right? But clothes and shoes and jewelry has been explosive. Home and kitchen, 35%. Yeah, let's take a look at that there. So there's monthly sales here is basically $5 billion on home and kitchen. You can break it down even further here. Let's see other subcategories here. And that's how granular Smartscout can be. Furniture, things that are too big for me, I try to avoid just because it's just something that I know shipping can get really expensive, and it's hard to put a number on shipping. Vacuums and floor care, that's been really good this year. In the last month alone, and has been pretty big, 30%. And then here we go, monthly sales $270 million per month. Let's see, storage and organization, shoe organizers. Oh, that's interesting. So let's see here, freestanding shoe racks. I know these can be built and put together. Seller revenues. Amazon's not on these. I would say this is something that's probably like private label. Let's see. Quite a bit of information here. Let's go and look into the brands. So for example, now you're looking into the brands that are part of that subcategory. And you see a lot of these brands here uh, don't look, there's not too many, there's not one seller that dominates the market. So this one's 5%, which is still pretty big, right? But it doesn't seem like there's any Amazon Basics is there. None of these brands jump up to me here. They look like they're all either Chinese. Yeah, so for example here, dominant seller country, China, US, China, China, China. So most of these sellers are Chinese. And just to give you an idea, let's look at the products for this brand in particular and see it on Amazon. Yeah, this is definitely something from China. Absolutely. Absolutely avoid this. But the beauty of Smartscout is you can actually filter the amount of sellers here. Oops. Put a minimum of 4. And there you go. Oh, I was in the wrong place. Close this. And then number of sellers. There you go, minimum 4. There you go. So these brands here, which aren't too big, are the ones that have more sellers. Let's take a couple look into this a little bit more. Yeah, that's definitely huge. It's 600 units per month, very impressive. Sold by Amazon, but it goes to show you that yeah, that's funky. Yeah, definitely funky. But you can use these filters to be a lot more powerful than the way I'm using them so far. You just gotta keep adding more and more into the total. So, for example, Amazon in stock rates 99%. Yeah, let's put the max at like 60%. And let's go back to estimated monthly revenue. So there's not too much opportunity here, right? For example, for me, a listing that has 5 sellers, $33,000 a month in sales, and then everything else is suboptimal for us, in my opinion. That just means that it's not worth it. And this is huge, yeah. So this is not something I would look into further, to be honest with you, because it's just not there. Uh, such a big item. It's probably made in China. Yep. Time to move on. Let's go back to the subcategory tree. Come back to the tree. Let's go back to tools and home improvement. Path lights, landscape path lights. It's a $13 million market per month. Let's take a look at this. Now the dashboard is kind of like a graphical view of the data, right? Number of reviews, number of brands, 800 brands, 3,800 ASINs. Revenue share is pretty much owned by third-party sellers, private label. And let's see here. Let's go into the brands for this category. So a lot of these brands don't look familiar. They're all Chinese sellers for the most part, dominating all of this. Probably something I would avoid, just because you can tell that for the better sellers here, it's all importing from China. We want to avoid that. Going back here, a good thing to look at is the Chinese seller revenue share. So it will tell you the amount of percentage that Chinese sellers based in China have of this subcategory. So let's say we want to change this to a max of 50%. Now you know which subcategories that they are not in, and now you can work on it yourself. So, for example, Chinese sellers 41%, rotisseries and roasters, mixers, and this home and kitchen. Let's go back to tools and automotive and home improvement. That's fine. Ceiling fans and accessories, commercial lighting, light fixtures, hand tools, torque wrenches, $5 million a month. Let's take a look here. So some of these brands pop up immediately to me. Gear Wrench is one of them. Milwaukee, I think everybody knows Milwaukee. AC Delco, DeWalt. So a lot of these brands are American. and they all do fairly well. I've never heard of this Lexivon, never heard of that brand. Let's take a look. But it just goes to show you that the how powerful this tool here is in subcategories. You're not going to be focusing on areas that are dominated by uh, sellers from China or private label or that need importation. You'll focus on what's growing, American brands, American sellers, people, stuff that we can get here in America. Because the fact that you have to buy it from China and dealing with importing or anything along those lines is just probably not worth your time. If you're doing wholesale here, and if you're doing any form of RA, you really want to avoid the Chinese sellers in general. Let's see here. This looks like it's a tool brand. Amazon in stock rates pretty much non-existent. They do sell here in a lot of these things. And the number of sellers too. That to me is a red flag immediately. Put 4 here. It's not much here. It does sell pretty well. Oh, these are nice torque wrenches too. So the brand themselves sell here. Nope. We are avoiding that. 100%. Going back here to the brands, we were here under the actual brand. Going back to the brands tab of the subcategory. Another filter that we should turn on here is the average and amount of sellers. So for the Lexivon, it's only 3. We should bump this up to at least 4. And then see what happens. So gear wrench, they're pretty popular and they are kind of hard to get. Craftsman, you can do OA, and you can definitely do some wholesale with this as well. But Amazon is in stock for most of these listings, so I would say you'll be definitely going to be competing with Amazon. But before you start going into these listings in Keepa and everything else, you already have such a high level view of these brands, the subcategories they're in, and you can use all these powerful filters here within Smartscout and the subcategory tool. And you're going to save yourself a lot of time, and you can use filters to adjust who you're trying to target, right? Whether it's a big company like Tecton, or you can go to smaller brands that sell much less per month. And that's definitely wrong, Milwaukee. Oh, for torque wrenches, right? Torque wrenches here in general. Precision Instruments, Vortex. These are all still big brands that probably don't have a lot of product for this specific Nike. But it just goes to show you that if you're looking for a specific product, or if you understand a specific niche, this is a powerful tool. So I hope that's helpful, guys. Subscribe. Let me know what you think about the video down below. Leave a comment or questions. This video may be a little bit too long, but sometimes these tools do deserve time and some effort into learning them, using them more often, especially when you're doing outreach, which should be definitely something you do quarterly at the least amount of time, if not monthly, depending on how fast you can open accounts and get products on Amazon. So hopefully it's helpful, and take care.